Here's our audience. Imagine a flood so massive that the Mississippi River grew to be 80 miles wide, swallowing entire towns and leaving over 700,000 without homes. This is what happened in the spring of 1927. I'm a project manager with the West Tennessee River Basin Authority, and I work in stream restoration and flood management. When I started this job, the very first book that my director gave me was Rising Tide by John Barry. That stuck with me, as it showed me how much the 1927 flood still influences what we do today. Even now, our flood control systems are based on ideas and policies that change because of that event. Understanding where those changes come from helped me understand why we manage rivers the way we do, and why it still matters. Today I'll explain how we got to a levees-only approach, what happened in the 1927 flood, and how this disaster forced the U.S. to rethink how it manages its major rivers. For decades before 1927, the main approach to flood control in the Mississippi River was simple: build taller levees. That strategy was backed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, wealthy landowners, and those with river shipping interests who wanted to avoid more expensive and complex solutions. According to a 2018 article by Ned Randolph in the Journal of Media and Communication, the Corps' levee-only policy was based on flawed engineering and political pressure. The main idea was that confining the river would cause it to run deeper and flow faster, thus lowering your flood occurrence. But that ignored how rivers behave in high water. They like to shift course and spread out. So when months of rain began in 1926 and continued into 1927, all that pressure had nowhere to go. It was only a matter of time until something gave way. In April of 1927, after months of intense rainfall, water levels surged beyond what the levees could hold. On April 21st, the Mounds Landing levee broke. This flooded over 1 million acres in 10 days, and the water levels did not stop rising until August. The National Weather Service, the federal agency responsible for tracking major flood events, reported in a 2022 document that this created the equivalent of over $5 billion in today's money. In the chaos, some communities were wiped clean off the map. African Americans were forced to remain on levees working and live in segregated refugee camps. Many were mistreated. In Greenville, thousands were stranded for weeks, unable to leave. According to historian John Barry, in his book Rising Tide, the mistreatment of African Americans during the 1927 Mississippi River flood, especially in places like Greenville, led to a major political shift as many lost faith in the Republican Party and moved their support, which lasted for generations. The scale of this was so great that it changed the way our government handles natural disasters. Public outrage and media coverage highlighted the failure of the levees-only policy and pushed Congress to act. In response, Congress passed the Flood Control Act of 1928. This gave the federal government full responsibility for managing the floodwaters on the Mississippi River. This also created the Mississippi River and Tributaries Project, which relied on not just levees, but spillways, floodways, and reservoirs, creating a much more balanced system. To wrap things up, the 1927 flood wasn't just a disaster. It exposed deep problems in how we manage our most powerful rivers. It forced major political changes in national policy that still guide how we manage flood control today. We don't remember this flood because of its destruction. Rather, we remember the 1927 Mississippi River flood because it forced us to rethink how we prepare for disaster, protect our people, and manage nature's power. Thank you. Here's our audience again.